debate. RNC Communications Director Sean Spicer in Detroit with that. Sean, good to see you.
Great to see you, Neil. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here in the historic Fox Theater in Detroit.
It's a beautiful place, but I have a feeling it won't all be beautiful tonight. What do you make of this maybe preview to coming attractions?
Well, it's cold and snowing outside, but I think it's going to be pretty hot inside here in the debate hall tonight.
Sean, you know, one of the big comments that has come up since Mitt Romney came out to say what he said about Donald Trump is A, why he didn't say it sooner, but B, whether this is part of a pattern among, for want of a better expression, establishment players. I want you to listen to this.
There's plenty of evidence that Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake.
Donald Trump is a con artist.
He inherited his business. He didn't create it.
Oh, we're going to have the guy that inherited $200 million.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University.
He is doing to the American voter what he did to the students at Trump University.
So you know what immediately comes up, Sean, in this event is that the Trump folks say this is a concerted party attack on us. Is it?
Well, I mean, if you mean party with respect to the RNC, then no. But I think clearly there's a bunch of folks who are not in first place that are sort of surrounding themselves and all attacking the front runner. But that's, you know, kind of the nature of what happens in politics. If you're not in first place, the only way to get to first place is generally to attack the person in first place.
So, as someone who's trying to keep the peace with everyone, I've been with multiple debates. It's never easy because something is always happening day up. It never fails. Now this. Could you have done without the Romney comments? Should they have been pushed back? Said it all?
Well, look, as you mentioned, you and I have spoken at length about this before. Myself and Chairman Priebus are of the mind that we abide by Reagan's 11th commandment. We'd rather have our candidates focus their fire on Hillary Clinton and the Democrats and promote themselves. That being said, we're at a crucial phase in this election cycle, and we understand that elbows are going to get thrown. That's the nature of politics. That's sort of the historical nature of our country. I mean, when we get to elections, going back into the 1800s, people, you know, have gone out of their way to criticize their opponents in various ways. While that's not exactly how I'd like to see things happen, we understand that that's sort of the nature of the beast, especially at this phase of the cycle.
You know, I know all is fair in love and war and politics, I guess, and names are called. But it just seems to me, Sean, if they say it, to be very tough to dial some of these comments back. It's not like, you know, George Bush Sr. saying Ronald Reagan and his economic policies were voodoo economics. This is going so far as another candidate, in this case Marco Rubio, calling the front runner a con man, Mitt Romney, the former standard bearer, phony. Hard to get them back on the reservation if it's Donald Trump's reservation in the end, right?
Well, look, I mean, in 2008, you saw the Democrats go at it rather epically until June of that year. Hillary Clinton said some rather nasty things about Barack Obama and vice versa. They ended up having a lot of energy, excitement. They rode that excitement to victory in November. I think when you look at what's happening on our side, we know have had 19 contests. In 18 of those, we've had record turnout on the Republican side. Conversely, on the Democratic side, they're reaching historic lows with respect to 2008. I like what's going on our side in terms of the intensity. I think once we go to Cleveland this July for our convention, we're going to come out unified as a party. Every one of those candidates, despite their differences, understands that what a Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders presidency would do to this country is unacceptable. They will unite. We will all unite as a party. We will all go together. We will win in November.
You really think so? I know you're a very optimistic guy and an upbeat guy, but I'm telling you, with the kind of language and the words that have been exchanged, I mean, I have Italian relatives who haven't spoken to each other in decades. And this is like reminding me of that.
Look, I mean, as I pointed out, I mean, if you just look at again, it's the other side of the aisle, but in 2008, Hillary went tooth and nail against Barack Obama. Not only did she unify to ensure a victory, but then she ended up serving in his cabinet.
I don't think she called him a con man.
She said some pretty nasty...
no, I understand.
Look,
but do you really think then, and you are optimistic or confident enough, that if Donald Trump is the nominee, Mitt Romney would support him, Marco Rubio would support him?
Look, I think despite all of the differences in our party, we all understand the threat of a Hillary Clinton presidency. There are potentially 4 additional Supreme Court justices that are up. So even take policies aside, the trajectory of this court could change for a generation if we don't elect a Republican president and stop Hillary Clinton from appointing far-left judges. I think everybody knows what's at stake, so that while you can disagree on certain policies and we can have disagreements among personalities, we do understand as a party what's at stake. We will unite and we will win.
You know, when I hear these other guys saying what they're saying about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump, you know, he says he's returning fire, that there's going to have to be a lot of fence spending, if there is any fence spending at all, because I hear from those like Senator Ben Sasse, you know, I can't support Donald Trump ever, so I would even be looking for a third-party conservative alternative. Others arguing, like Christy Todd Whitman, the former New Jersey governor, if this is what our party has come to, count me out. I would sooner support Hillary Clinton. Now, I know those are likely extreme cases, but it seems to me like what's in debate here is the very DNA of the Republican Party, with some saying, if that's my party, I want nothing of it.
Well, look, Neil, I think what we have to keep in mind is that, you know, as these states vote, this is up to the voters to decide. And I think that's where I think that a lot of people have misunderstood what's happening in the electorate right now on both sides of the aisle. The voters, more voters than ever, are going to participate in this election cycle on our side. And their voices are going to be heard. And if Donald Trump or Marco Rubio or John Kasich or Ted Cruz wins the majority of those votes and delegates, they will be our nominee. But it's as plain and simple as that. If you don't like someone who's the front runner, or you don't like who's in second place, or your guy in third, you want him in first, then go out, vote, and be active in this cycle. Whether it's posting something on Facebook or Twitter or attending a rally or donating, the best antidote for ensuring that your candidate is successful is to be active. And so for the folks who want change, go out and get involved.
All right, Sean, finally, when you go into one of these debates, do you take a whole bottle of Pepto-Bismol, or how do you handle that?
Just, you know, little dabs at a time. Yeah. But it's always exciting. I think, look, the beautiful thing about these things is that the votes have matched up to the debates. Whether the ratings and the votes, the intensity's with us. I'm excited. It's a great day to be a Republican. Our party's going to do very, very well this November.
All right. We'll watch closely, as we always do. Sean, thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Neil.